Hey guys, let's play Style here, and we're going to be looking at Code Vein today. So I sunk about 60-ish hours into the game, getting almost every achievement, so I feel like I can actually make this review and have it seem like I know what I'm talking about, really. This will be a spoiler-free zone, so there's no need to worry at all. Code Vein is a Souls-like game, aka anime Dark Souls, really, and you play the role of a vampirish demon fighter who must quote-unquote save the world. Your objective is really to reclaim your lost memories and escape from the living nightmare of Code Vein. It literally actually says that in the description on Steam, so I'm not making that shit up at all. You have your great swords, small swords, hammers, axes, and so much more to combat the forces of the lost, which are the main mobs and bad guys of the game. The game looks amazing. This includes the combat areas and even the characters. You can clearly see also which characters are the best right off the bat in the first cutscene of the game, so that's a plus here. The bloom effect is a little too much in the game, but regardless of that, the game still looks fucking phenomenal. The post-apocalyptic feel of the world actually looks so good here too. It has the giant spikes, or thorns as the game calls them, literally littered throughout the game. This also shows the scale of everything really well in my opinion. Shows how big and disastrous this whole thing is to everything. So the character creation was really fun as well. The accessories and colors we had were great. I made this abomination alongside my regular looking character and it was fucking phenomenal. The only downside of the character creation are really the outfits. I wish we had more outfits or more options of customization with the few outfits that we did have. You can remove some of the features of like the 6 outfits in game, but it really doesn't change much. Even with a limited number of options in the outfits, the game makes up with amazing combat in my opinion. The game has a large array of different weapons in here. I personally recommend the one-handed swords if you want a swift and nimble fighting style. It's actually personally what I used for about 90% of my first playthrough. We have great swords, hammers, and axes for like tank and heavy hitting builds, but on top of that there aren't actually classes like Dark Souls. You get blood codes, which specialize in certain areas, which some might scale in like dexterity, which is better for like one-handed swords and halberds, and some might scale in like mind and intelligence, which are good in your gifts. So gifts are your abilities and your mana is your ichor. Gifts aren't like just your magical attacks either, so that's a good part here. Some are buffs, physical attacks, and others are just plain old magical attacks. With the mixture of buffs to your weapons, person, combos, or even just ranged attacks, I found myself trying so many builds with so many other blood codes on my second and third playthrough. It filled that like you're gonna keep doing the same thing every playthrough, and it gives it a little bit more flavor. Like, how do I actually want to play this game more than just, hey, there's 5 classes like in Bloodborne or in Dark Souls, so you have a little bit more there. The game isn't very long at all. My first playthrough of the game was a 100% run, and I grinded a lot at the end to make the few builds that I did have for future runs, and they took me about 30 hours in total to get to the start and the end and get the grinding out of the way. A lot of it like was just grinding levels and mastering the gifts, because you do have the option to do so with like a lot of the gifts. On average, from start to finish without looking around everything and grinding much, like one run of the game can take about 5 to 7 hours depending on how good you are at the game. And there are 4 endings, so altogether you're looking at about maybe 20 hours. That can be also plus or minus depending on who you are, like I said. Even without grinding, I felt the game was a little bit too easy, so some bosses were just following that same thing. It was just way too easy. I found myself dying a few times to the endgame bosses, but after like the second or third try, I basically took them down and moved on. Like, learning the game, yeah, you're gonna have some trouble, but after you know what you need to do and know actually how to play the game and dodge and everything, even with New Game Plus, it's completely easy. I played the game basically with a partner, the NPC. I've even done co-op and played solo. The game is just way too easy. Like, I shouldn't have to beat the game just to get a slightly harder version with New Game Plus. And some parts of the game and other features of the game, like the invasions of just the waves of enemies that come in, were way harder than most bosses. I was very surprised about this, but really, oh well, what can you do? A lot of the negatives that I found with the game were completely overdone by the positives in my opinion. The looks of the game are amazing. The plot of the game is really just great in general. I'm not going to say it's, award-winning, but it's pretty good for what it is. Combat could be a pinch better, but almost a 10 out of 10 for me. And God, the music is so good. I didn't go over much here because, YouTube, and they might just copyright strike this because I have the music in it. So fuck that, I'm not doing that at all. So I was following the game since they really announced it, and I'm so glad I picked it up. If you like anime games, Souls-like games, or even just having a good casual time, or even trying to like have some type of challenge with a Souls-like game, I would recommend picking the game up. My personal rating of it would be a 9 out of 10. What's really holding it back from that 10 out of 10 is really the outfits, bloom, and how easy the game was without even trying. Like, I had to put a handicap somewhere in there, like, don't use this build or don't do this or anything, just to make the game a little bit harder on my 4th playthrough. And with even that being said, I'm still so glad I picked up this game and bought it. I can't wait for the DLC, and I'd recommend anyone who just wants to play some type of Souls-like game or like anime games, like I said, to pick this up ASAP. And that's going to end the review of Code Vein. I felt like I could actually do this video since I sunk so much time and effort into it. So I'm actually glad I actually got this out. I've been really wanting to do a game review for quite a while. And I was playing the game here on YouTube, basically playing live and everything, but OBS kind of fucked up, so it's being stupid and I have to try to fix it, and once that's done, I'll go ahead and start playing Code Vein again. Other than that, thanks for watching, guys. Please like and favorite the video, subscribe to the channel, it does help a lot, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.